Okay, we're back for episode number 3 of the Schaefer Media Podcast, live from Schaefer Media World headquarters. Getting ready to go talk to my good friend, Drew Jacobs. He's a Lamar outdoor salesperson, but on the side, he's got this second act going as a songwriter and a musician. Should be pretty cool, and he's going to play us a song. Hope you stick around. All right, Drew Jacobs.
Hi.
Longtime friend.
Absolutely.
Thrilled to have you here today. We're at Magic Wig Studios here in Colony.
Yeah.
And they were very, very nice to let us come in here. I thought, what better place to bring you than someplace where your career started in production?
Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. I started as a radio producer, wrote and produced radio commercials, and then went into television production, wrote and produced television commercials for about 4.5 years or so before I got into advertising sales and the whole sales end of the broadcast and advertising business.
So why did you wind up in sales? Because I know why I did.
It just was a natural, sort of a natural progression, you know. I was a I was a television producer, and you know, I looked around and said, okay, I enjoy this. I'm not the world's best television producer. I'm okay. I get the job done, you know. What else is there? You know, what's the next step for me? And I had met some people and worked with some salespeople who were good at what they did, who were able to go from not just selling something, but helping a client. I said, help a client. I can do that.
There you go.
And so I said, you know, let me take a shot, you know, and started at show radio in Schenectady, which was the number 40 station in a field of 35. You know, nobody listened to it, which isn't true. People did listen to it.
There were 12 of them.
But yeah, and you know, we got all 12 to buy from the clients that I had advertising. But you know, as you say, you know, if you can sell that and make that work for people, you can pretty much do anything. As you know, advertising sales, especially radio, you're selling this. Look, here's your product. You know, there it is. Can you see it?
Looks great.
Yeah.
Less filling.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, you know, that was my first step, and then after about 1.5 years at show, I moved over to Pix 106 and WTRY and was there for 9 years, something like that. Had a great time, which is where we met.
Correct.
And then again, I said, okay, what's the next step? Been there, done that. And decided to get into television advertising sales, and moved over to Time Warner, and cable was just on its way up, you know, and I might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I am blessed with timing, and was able to kind of ride that wave of cable television, and was at Time Warner for about 12 years. And said, okay, what's next? You know,
As we all do.
Yeah. And so I said, you know, I don't want to go back to, don't want to go to another TV station. Already did radio, and started looking at outdoor advertising and billboards. And I've been with Lamar for 8 years, just over 8 years.
Right.
And it's terrific. You know, it's a terrific medium. It's a lot of fun, good company, good people, and I'm having a great time.
Now, you and I met, it's going to be 22 years since I moved back up to the area. And it was funny because I was always that accidental salesperson that started off on the air, was fired a couple of times for being a self-involved hot dog, and was trying to find my way. And when I did, it was in sales, and decided to come back up to Albany. And first time I met you, I'm like, oh, this guy's just like me. He's from Long Island. He's a huge Mets fan. He plays guitar. He likes Cheap Trick. I'm like, what else is there? I mean, he's got a sense of humor, and you know, we hit it off right from the beginning.
Yeah.
It was great. And I always looked at you and go, man, you know, Drew gets it in a different way, because there's salespeople, and we all know that there's the salesperson type.
Yeah.
And you and I were never that type. We were always a little bit off the path.
I'll agree to that. Yeah, that's true. It really is and has always been for me about helping the client, and solving whatever the problem is, and the creativity comes from finding that solution, which a
Right.
lot of people don't see, and that's what makes it fun for me.
So tell me a little bit here. When did you start playing guitar?
Uh, I think I got my first guitar. I was probably 5 years old, and I wasn't very good. But but so I mean I've had a I mean I'm old enough to say that I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, you're that old? I
I'm
didn't
that
think you were
old.
that old.
I was very very young. I was probably 4. But I distinctly remember my parents waking my brother and I up to see these guys on TV. So and fell in love like everybody else did. So yeah, so I started playing relatively young. Took lessons as a kid, was in bands in junior high school and high school. Then kind of, always played, but kind of didn't take a front seat. And then started recording. Technology has been a great gift for musicians, because you're able to record, in the privacy and comfort of your own home. And so I started doing that, and started writing. I'd always written, but I started writing more songs and more humorous songs. And then somebody said, if you're going to record these things, you really should go out and play them and see, if they fly or don't. So that's a good idea. So I started going to some open mics and
Right.
discovered that I enjoyed it. And so it's kind of grown from there, put out a couple of CDs just for family and friends of some of the things I recorded. And then I said, let's take the next step. And put together a professionally recorded CD, half live, half studio things that I did myself, and put it out to CD Baby and had it professionally produced and professionally released, and wound up sending it to Sirius Satellite Radio. With a letter saying, "Hey, you guys play. You've got a comedy channel. You play some comedy music here and there. Here's some comedy music," and didn't hear anything. And about 9 months go by, and I'm driving home, and I turn on Sirius, and I look down at the screen, and it says Drew Jacobs, and I'm driving. Wait a second. That's me.
I'm on the radio.
I'm on the radio, yeah.
And it's different from the old days. And I hate to use the term old days, but where you had somebody who had a song and it would come on the car and the AM radio and it was local.
Yeah.
This is serious. This is national.
Right.
This is international.
Right.
They actually play this in Canada.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, yeah. As I say, I've got fans all over North America and 73 in Canada. 74, actually, I got to update the...
But step back for a second. You kind of sped through a little bit of the process of how you went down this path. How do you make this decision that I'm going to dump my own money into making CDs? I'm gonna pursue this. What was the feeling behind it?
Partially it's ego. It's something that I think every musician would want to do. I think. Partially it was because I believed in what I was doing and believed in what I'm doing. I think it was a dream that for me in my own way came true. I mean, in my wildest dreams I wouldn't imagine hearing my songs on the radio, and not just one time, but literally thousands of times. My songs have been played. And believe me, I had the experience where I had a lousy day at work, left the office, got in my car, started the ignition, and there's my song, like out of a movie, you know. I mean,
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, you know, and it's, you know, like I say, it's, you know, if I drop dead tomorrow, my dream has come true, you know. So it's very exciting, and you know, I see how, you know, musicians who do this full time. I don't do this full time, you know, but who are trying to make a living, you know, want that gratification of having a quote hit record or having a song on the radio on a regular basis.
I get a kick out of Derek Rogers, my art director, who's here with us today, and his band, the Titanics. He gets checks every month from Spotify and all these other things. I'm like, this is a nice little part-time job, just entertaining ourselves, doing what we love, making a few shekels doing it.
Yeah.
And I've always been impressed by that with you. I'm like, you're pursuing this idea and you're taking it to a place where I don't know anybody would have expected it.
Yeah, I certainly didn't, you know. And you're right, you know, between you know, royalty checks from BMI and you know, internet play, and that's the world that has opened up to people like us who, you know, are getting internet radio, some on-air radio play every once in a while, but getting checks. I mean, I haven't made a living, but I've made enough to pay for production of my CDs, to buy a guitar every once in a while, you know, and so, you know, it's you know, it's maybe not at the break-even point, but it's darn close. You know, and I'm having fun, which was really the key. It was never really about the money. It was about you know,
fun, and I can pay for it.
Yeah, you know, you get paid every once in a while, and you know, I mean, I'd play for free, you know, from time to time, you know, but probably more often than I get paid, you know.
You know, I've gone and seen you. I've seen you in front of 10 people. I've seen you in front of 250 people. You know, you go out, you do it, you perform to your best, and have fun with it, and that's all it is. It's not that complicated.
Exactly. You
know, my biggest thrill for you, well, the first was when you gave me the first CD. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But the very first one was when you said you were on Dr. Demento, because I remember staying up and listening to picks that Sunday night to hear Dr. Demento talk about my pal Drew.
Yeah.
And that was so cool.
Yeah.
There's Dr. Demento. And if you follow musical comedy at all, you know who Dr. Demento is. He's been around forever. And that was so cool. I mean, how do you feel when that happens?
Oh, there's nothing else like it. There's no when I saw that, I got an email saying that I was going to be on the show. You know, it was I can't even begin to put into words how exciting it was, and to hear it, you know, and it still is exciting to hear it. I think I was on this summer with one of my songs, and I didn't expect it. You know, it just kind of. I was looking through the playlist for that week, and I said, "Holy cow, he grabbed that one himself." You know, I didn't even have to send an email and say, "Hey, how about this? How about that?" So it's always a feather in the cap, and it's always a thrill anytime that happens. You know.
So we've got this journey you're going on.
Yeah.
You're going down this path. You're having fun. You're playing music. You're making a little money doing it. At the end of it, what's the end goal of it? What is there anything you want to see, or are you just happy on this path?
I mean, you know, one of my next goal, if you will, is to write a song that another artist records. You know, to write something good enough that somebody says, "Hey, I wanna put that on my CD." You know, whether it's a serious song, and I write some serious songs, or a humorous song. You know, that's my next step, and I'm excited to say I got an email from a friend of mine, a guy by the name of Todd Chappelle, who is another musical comedian friend of mine in the Philadelphia area, who asked if it would be okay if he started performing If 50's the New 30, which is one of my songs. Is it okay?
Knock your socks off.
Go for it, you know. I mean, to me, that's a thrill that somebody thinks that much of one of my songs that they want to perform it, you know.
Right.
And so that's the the next step is to write things and do something that's good enough that somebody says, hey, I'd like to record that and make that part of my repertoire.
Now, your new CD, you've managed to mix your world. Because I remember, I don't know, when did you put this out? Was it about a year ago?
About a year, yeah.
I remember driving down 90 one day and looking up, oh my God, Drew's got a billboard. Like, he sold himself a billboard.
See that?
I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, you see different things and you go, you know, that's just awesome. It's just fun. And
exactly. And it's fun and it's a kick, and people who saw it had the exact same reaction.
now, speaking of songs, I'm still peddling this idea to you about the truck nuts. I saw one of those dirty white pickup trucks at the Outlaw Festival. I was driving behind it. It was pumping out all kinds of just nasty black smoke. It had filth all over it and obscene things written on the back, which we won't go into because I'm not going to work blue today. Dangling from the back were the truck nuts. Only in America do you get truck nuts.
I suppose. I don't know if it warrants a whole song, but it's certainly, maybe there's opportunity there to fit it into something, you know. That's the challenge. You know, people come up to me from time to time just with hey, I got a great idea for you. You know, and unless you know it's laid out for me, it's hard for me to sort of grasp. Another friend of mine came to me and said, I got an idea and here's lyrics. And I went, okay, this I can work with. So we wound up, and I never write with anybody. I usually write myself, you know. But he had enough lyrics and enough of an idea fleshed out that I said, hey, what if we did this? What if we did that? And wound up coming up with a very serviceable song, you know. But people all the time go, hey, how about this? How about that? I go, oh, well, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
I still like truck nuts. I'm very uncomfortable that I was going like this when I was talking about truck nuts.
They must have been big.
They were massive. Listen, I want you to play a song for us. Play something, one of your songs. And
Okay, I'll play a short one. I'll play a couple. Maybe I'll play a couple of short ones. One that and talk about thrills. This song won first place in an international songwriting contest, USA Songwriting Contest, a couple of years ago. And one of the prizes was they asked me to come to the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas, and perform. Really? Now, got to pay my own way, you know, and all that. But you know, to say you played the South by Southwest Festival,
that's a nice.
Again, yeah, a little feather in the cap. And again, never in my wildest dreams, you know. And I said to some friends, I said, should I do this? And a buddy of mine who had been there said, yeah, you got it. And you know, we were talking about it today. Austin is, you know, wall-to-wall music, you know, and South by Southwest, it's wall on top of wall music. I mean, it's just, you walk down the street and there's guys lugging amps and drum kits and from one place to another to play. So it was fun. I played a showcase show with a bunch of other artists that had won prizes in the contest. And like I say, it's an international songwriting contest, so you're up against, you know, a lot of people, you know.
And you got to get that call or email or whatever it is and say, I'm just a kid from Long Island. Right. What am I doing here?
Yeah, you know. So it was fun. The song actually is the title track for my second CD called "I'm Allergic to My Job." So and it seems that people do relate to it. So I'll just do a little bit of it. Monday morning I get up and I head for the shower. It's how I survive this ungodly hour. I grab a slice of breakfast and a coffee to go. I kiss my wife and kids and then I head out the door. Well, I stepped into the office and I start to perspire. The telephone is ringing while my throat is getting drier. I go to check my email and the screen flickers on. I break out in a rash running up and down my arm. I'm allergic to my job and I feel so bad. This has to be the worst job I've I'm sick as a dog. Oh my God, I'm allergic to my job. Oh my God, I'm allergic to my job.
How can somebody buy your stuff?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. You can certainly go to drewjacobs.com. There's a link there to CD Baby, where you can either order the physical CDs or download the CDs. You can go to CD Baby itself. I'm also on iTunes, also on Amazon. So yeah, if you're so inspired, and people do get inspired. In fact, I just realized on the way over, I got an email a couple weeks ago from CD Baby. Somebody had ordered somebody I don't know. I have no idea. Usually it's somebody I know. It's even cooler when somebody you don't know. Had ordered a copy of my first CD, Easy Listening for the Hard of Hearing. And so they had to restock the CDs.
Drew, we're out of stock.
Yeah, right. Wait, I'll get to the post office.
Stand by.
So stand by. So yeah. And I'm always looking to play out. I'd love to do. Anytime there's a benefit, some charity event that they need a little music for. I don't do 2 hours of music,
Right.
and covers. There are people who do that a lot better than I do. But, you're looking for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're looking for an hour-long show with a couple of comedians. I certainly have gotten into that end of producing comedy shows now. So that's sort of a natural progression for me to get in front of more and more audiences and have fun.
Drew, big fun. Thank you for doing this.
Appreciate the time. Thanks, buddy.
Admire you for taking these steps and doing this and just having at it.
Thanks.